All right. Hello and welcome. You know what? No sound effects, no applause, and all that stuff that I normally do. Because you know what? I just tried to do this stream. I'm sorry to come on and start the show complaining. But quite honestly, my computer keeps crashing on me every gosh darn time that I try to do these live streams lately, and I'm not really sure what the hell's going on. And I'm starting to think that it's my stream deck. I noticed that when I start hitting a couple buttons of sound effects and stuff, my computer freezes up. So maybe it's just a little too much on the computer to hit my applause and the AO and all that stuff, which is going to kind of limit me a little bit, to be honest with you, because I really enjoy playing the sound effects. They're a lot of fun. But anyway, hello and welcome to Operation Status Quo here on a happy Friday. Is it a happy Friday? I mean, I've been running around all day, to be honest with you, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it here for this stream today, but I did miss yesterday, and of course, the outpouring of concern for my well-being was so overwhelming that I decided I couldn't leave my audience hanging for 2 days in a row. So I am here, ladies and gentlemen, to share with you. Today is the 16th of June in the good year 2023. I'm Pete Palma, by the way. Hello and welcome. This is Operation Status Quo, where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life, and then, of course, we create our own flow of quo-yo, because that's the only way to go. For those who follow regularly, during the week I did those couple streams outside. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, actually, sitting outside and just kind of free flowing, just having some conversation and just thinking and talking a little bit, and I enjoyed it. Honestly, I think I'm going to do more like that. And for those of you that are fans of this channel and you follow regularly, I don't really talk about it so much, but I do. I am a realtor here in Florida, and I do work in that realm. And although I put it in the description box below, my contact information and such, and mention that I do that, I don't actually usually promote that side of things here. But I am going to be creating a new YouTube page channel, as it were, just dedicated to that. So anyway, I don't know how much more of this will be. Can I hit my applause? I want to hit the applause so bad. I'm afraid that if I hit one sound effect, that this whole thing. Oh, let's do it. What the? I'll tell you, if I lose the stream, then it shows me what it was, and then I know never to hit another button again. Listen to that beautiful applause. Listen to it. Hey-o. Okay, that's normally how I start, but I do find that the last couple times that I did that, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I'm getting all on this. You know what this place is about, right? This is a place for people to come together, to talk, to share, to just hang out and have a good time, talk about life. Most importantly, what this channel really is, it's really about, you guys out there. I'm looking just to create a space where you can come on and share what you do, and we can have a discussion and that type of thing. So, I really don't need to pontificate all day long about what's going on in the world and my views on it. And, I tell people, you try to always give encouraging messages, not to get worked up and all that type of thing. But honestly, at this point in the game, if you're not kind of doing that for yourself and realizing, what's going on in the world and taking time to give yourself some space. I mean, I like to encourage people, believe me, but at the same time, you got to take some responsibility, for yourself and, and take action as to how you want to live your life. No matter what the circumstances are going on in the world, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. All right. Okay. So today we're going to have some fun because it's a Friday, and on Fridays we like to have some fun. So we're going to do this day in history. Let me do it right, ladies and gentlemen. This day in history. That's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. So let's talk about what will be today is the 16th of June, as I said, in the good year 2023. But because this is this day in history, we'll be talking about days like today, but not today, because today is its own day, and the days that we will be discussing have already passed us by. Now, some sort of catastrophic event happens on this day. I don't know if anything has happened yet on this day, catastrophic. I haven't checked in. But if something does, then next year they'll say, oh, in 2023, on this day in 2023, X, Y, or Z happened, depending on what actually happened. But let's see what happened out there and have a little bit of fun with this. Don't forget to participate if you're out there. Drop your comments and, all that stuff. Like, subscribe, share, send this out. Remember, as I just said, this is a place for you guys. So I'm interested in what you want to talk about. I'm interested in having you on to come on to speak and all that type of thing. And anyway, that's all that. So let's do this day in history for you, the beautiful people out there. So on this day, June 16th in 1963, we had the first woman in space. Now, of course, here on Operation Status Quo, we talk about that we observe the status quo. And the status quo is what? It's like the mainstream, world, that the little petri dish of shit that they keep us living in all the time. So, of course, we have to take a grain of salt with any of the this day in history stuff because, we're being sold the propaganda of history, not necessarily the truth of history. And, of course, we start off the bat with this first woman in space. And, of course, for those of us that, have some sort of realization that the Earth is flat, then, we're not really going into space. So I'm not sure where she really went, if she went on some kind of journey. A lot of times I think, because I talk about, the flat Earth thing, sometimes half tongue in cheek. But truthfully, I definitely don't believe what they tell us about, we're some ball spinning around and all this speed shooting all around space and stuff shooting all around. It just doesn't make sense. If you just go outside and just feel, it just doesn't make sense. So, I kind of think space, like when they show you pictures of space, I think it's more in the whatchamacallit, the inner dimensions, the inside of the Earth, or what it was. Okay, here we go. We got Mr. N. I don't know if you guys remember out there. We had Mr. N on the show as a guest one time. Let's see. She went into space. A studio space. That's right. They have a studio where they make the where they make all the the Earth the moon landing. I forgot where they said that. If that was done like in Arizona or something. I don't know where they said they did that. But what's really funny about that too, Mr. N? Just to say, yesterday I was sitting outside out front in my house, and I don't know, I was just messing with my camera on my phone. There was a bird in the tree, and I was trying to get a close up on it. And then I pointed the phone towards the ground, like the concrete, and I got in like so close. These newer iPhones, the camera's so cool, right? So I got in real close, and it looked like craters. It looked like the moon. And I wanted to take a picture. I was going to take a picture and say, "Oh, look, I'm on the moon," because that's basically the same type of bullshit that they sell us. But this Valentina Tereshkova, I guess, was flying a solo mission aboard the Soviet Vostok. I guess it's the Vostok 6, and she became the first woman in space. Let's see, it said this also makes her the only woman to fly a solo mission in space. So there you go. And again, for all of those who like to believe that, enjoy and let's celebrate this wonderful Russian woman who was shot off into space, and hopefully she returned. We should go find her. She's still alive. This was 1963, so she could be gone by now. All right, how about this? Superman, on this day in 1959, Superman commits suicide. Oh my God. So actor George Reeves, who played Superman in the TV series Adventures of Superman 1952 to 1958, dies of a gunshot wound to the head while at home in his bedroom. The death was officially ruled a suicide, but many suspect foul play. Suspects include his fiance, his ex-girlfriend. I guess it says his fiance, ex-girlfriend. So I guess they were girlfriend and you're either girlfriend or fiance. Which one is it? And her husband, he was an MGM executive. He was rumored to have ties to the mob. Anyway, which is ironic here that, of course, that this guy was shot in the head and died. He's Superman, but he was shot in the head at home and he didn't quite make it. What's really funny about this, too, is I just love how they go like this. The death was officially ruled a suicide, but many suspect foul play. So what does that shit tell you about investigators and stuff? It's like, I don't know. What do you think? Well, it certainly looks like something strange happened here. And this guy, he's on TV, he's playing Superman, he's having a great life. Does he seem like he would shoot himself in the head? No, he seems happy all the time. I don't know. We can't figure it out. What do you say we just rule it a suicide? It's just easier to make it a suicide. But that's what they do in Hollywood. That's how Hollywood is, right? This guy was probably speaking out against the human trafficking and the adrenochrome and that kind of stuff. So they had to shoot him in the head. Let's see. Mr. N. Suspects include, Darkseid and I was going to say Lex Luthor, right? Yeah, Luthor probably showed up there and caught him without his cape on. I think Superman was only able to not be affected by bullets if he was wearing his cape. So he might have been showering and, he didn't have his cape on. And then Lex was able to slip in there and pop him in the head. Okay, here we go. 1884, on this very day, ladies and gentlemen, the first commercially successful gravity-powered American roller coaster goes into operation. The Switchback Railway at Coney Island, New York. It charged 5 cents a passenger and averaged $600 a day. Wow, that's a lot of people riding that thing, right? Riders would climb a tower to board a large bench-like car and were pushed off to coast 600 feet, traveling about 6 miles per hour. What? Down the track. So I guess in 1884, 6 miles per hour, seemed pretty quick, right? Because remember, I did something with This Day in History before, I think, when, or it might have been one of the fun facts, just the facts man. It might have been one of those episodes about, I think the first cars were only driving 4 miles an hour or 2 miles. I was joking around that you can just ride a bike up next to the car, and catch them. But so anyway, for 5 cents, you get on a roller coaster that was gravity powered. Ooh, I wonder how they figured out to harness that, climb up to the top and let it go down, right? So I guess they figured it out. Okay, a house divided against itself cannot stand. That's right. On this date in 1858, Abraham Lincoln gives his famous line, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free." So, and now it's even worse, right? Because even though we think we're free, actually we're even less free than we were then. At least back then, you knew that right up front there were slaves and there were not slaves. In this society, they've done it differently. They say, you know what? It really makes people upset when we enslave other humans. It seems to rub people the wrong way to pick a culture. Just pick a culture and decide to enslave them for our financial and everything else, benefit. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll free them, and then we'll just make everybody slaves. We'll make everybody socioeconomic slaves by the fake U.S. dollar. By all the political rules, all the bureaucracy, everything that we do to just, weigh people down and trap them. So they really did a great job. We got to thank Abraham Lincoln. He was the catalyst for, saying, if we're going to enslave people, we just can't come out and say you're slaves, right? They don't do that now. They just do it in a very subliminal way, especially here in America. Everybody thinks they're so free. I'm an American. I'm free. I can do whatever I want. Okay. Good luck. Good luck with that. If you don't have any money, it's just the way to work. Like O.J. Simpson, he had enough money to be free, so it really pretty much works out like that. It's like, what do you have to be? How much do you have to be free? All right, let's see. 3-week filibuster. On this date in 1838, John Quincy Adams begins his 3-week-long filibuster speech before Congress on the night of petition and freedom of speech. His speech lasted until July 7th. Blah, 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 blah. What was the speech about? I don't even know. What they gave it in response to a resolution to annex Texas, which he was trying to defeat. His plan worked. Okay, so Texas has always wanted to kind of leave, right? Texas is they're probably the smartest state in the country. They've been trying to get out from under being part of the United States for a really long time, and they're working on it. By the way, for those that don't know, Texas has recently issued allowing gold and silver to be legal tender in the state. So just a preliminary of what's to come as our financial system collapses and we move towards a new way of doing things. So if you haven't invested in any sort of commodity at this point, I'm just saying, if all your money is in equities and those 401ks and all that type of stuff, I'm not a financial advisor. I love when people say this because I watch all that kind of stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. I would say this: if you're listening to me, Operation Status Quo, and you're going to take my advice as like I'm some expert, well, that's on you. But I will say, common sense, I would say, shows you that, and I've always been misguided about, money in my life, as far as, always wanted to put it in the stocks. You put it in the stocks. I actually started thinking about it. Like, what are these stocks? What, like, it goes up, it goes down. Like, what's making it? Why is it going up? Why is it going down? It makes no sense, right? It's just all, fiddling around. It's a computer system. They're effing with you. They got your money. Even when you put that stuff in your 401k or whatever, you can't touch it to a certain age. If you do touch it, you get, penalized. You lose all this percentage. And as I said this 100 times before, they're always using that money. They're using that money, right? And making millions and billions on your money that's sitting there that you can't touch. And if you're lucky over the course of your life, you get a nice 6% on it over the course of your life. You do pretty good. But just good enough, while they're making millions and billions. So anyway, get your money out of that kind of crap. I would advise people, real estate, real estate's a little fluctuating right now, but commodities of some sort, something that's actual physical that you hold, that retains its value. Okay. So I mean, not for anything, having like a generator is worth more than leaving a couple G's in the bank for all of a sudden you wake up and the stocks is shut down and you lost 50% of everything that you had. And I mean, you do remember the Great Depression and people jumping out of the windows, right? So, it's not that it can't happen just because you haven't experienced it in your lifetime. All right, the pendulum clock on this date, 1657, the pendulum clock is patented by a Dutch astronomer. He needed it for his astronomical observations. The design was based on the research of Galileo into pendulums and their use for timekeeping, blah, 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 blah. Where we got here? I know it's not quite the same, but it's close. I'm sorry, I shouldn't hit the sound effect. I can't help myself. I just love these damn sound effects so much. Please, computer. I don't know if it's the sound effects or not. The craziest thing is I've been doing the show the same way for all this time. And now all of a sudden, over the last, week, this damn thing wants to give me a hard time. I think it's just trying to tell me, Pete, give it up. Nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. But I give a shit about what I'm doing, and I give a shit about you. And it might only be one of you out there. Maybe Mr. N, it's probably just you. That's it. It's just you and me, buddy. Hey, Mr. N, it's just me and you. I love you. Thank you. That's it. Hey-o. Mr. N complimented me one time on the some of the numbers of views I had on my some of my posts. I'm going to be honest about this, and I want to say, well, I want to tell them, and I'll say it because I'm honest, right? As I'll put it through. I'll take my shows sometimes and put them through different chat groups and all to try to share information with others. And generally, if I don't put the show through a bunch of chat groups, Mr. N that's it. It's me and Mr. N. So anyway, it's just too funny. I don't even take that in a bad way. It's YouTube. I really don't. I look at the analytics. I'm going to say this too. I look at the analytics of the videos. And a lot of times I'll say, oh, this video had 80 views. That's pretty cool. And then I go in and look at the analytics. Average view time, 36 seconds. I'm like, geez, they didn't even get to the part of when I say my name. So I don't know how true it all is. That's the thing too. Like, I really don't know, what I see on YouTube, how accurate is it as far as who actually saw it. I definitely think certain things are promoted more than others. I don't even want to say that I'm like, who cares about me to shadow ban or whatever, but maybe the topics I discuss, or it's not monetizable enough, if that's a word, so they decide to, keep me knocked out. I really don't know, or at the end of the day, nobody, just like I say before, nobody gives a shit, but that's okay, because the truth is, it's not that nobody gives a shit. It's just like, I got to find the people that do give a shit. There's got to be a few out there. Maybe the homeless, maybe I can, what are they doing all day, right? They can watch me while they're pushing the cart around. I got to try to ingratiate myself to a different community. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Subway vigilante. On this day in 1987, Bernhard Goetz or something, is convicted of carrying an unlicensed concealed weapon. He had been acquitted of murder charges. He shot 4 black youths in a New York subway car, claiming he was frightened when they asked for $5. He was seen as a hero to many New Yorkers who were tired of the crime in the city. In 1981, he was a victim of a mugging and was upset because the attacker spent less time in the police station than Goetz did himself. He was further angered when his attacker was charged only with criminal mischief for ripping his jacket. So anyway, blah 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 blah. It's a lot of stuff to read here about all this. But I guess he got in trouble for standing up for himself. Now I'll say this: if an African American gentleman or group of gentlemen came up to me, asked me for $5, I don't think that's too unreasonable. Anything more than a 10, 20, I can't do it. I probably would have to shoot them too, but $5, I feel like, is it worth killing these guys? Let me just give them the 5. I don't know if they're playing games. Sometimes they go, oh, you give me $5, but really they say, oh, if you got 5, you got 10. If you got 10, you got 20. You remember that scene, by the way, in the movie Night Shift? I love it. It's one of my favorites. When Henry Winkler, he's on the subway with Michael Keaton, and it's when Michael Keaton comes up with the idea of being, the pimps for the prostitutes or whatever. He goes, oh, Michael. He's like, you can call us, we're gonna be pimps. He goes, no, we're gonna be love brokers. He goes, so you remember he's on the subway. He comes in, love brokers. Right. But anyway, and then so after he gets off the subway, Henry Winkler is still sitting on the subway, and the blind guy comes up, with the saxophone, and, just starts playing the saxophone a little bit. And, Henry Winkler, he's just playing in front of Henry Winkler. And Henry Winkler's a real nervous character in this movie. And so, he's like, oh, okay. He's like, kind of, okay. So he drops a little bit of change into the guy. The cup was hanging at the bottom of the saxophone. He drops a little bit of change in the cup. So the guy's playing. The change goes clink, clink, into the cup, and the guy stops, just goes silent, right? And he's like, as if like, what, you're only going to give me this little bit of change. So the music went from the soft music, clink, clink of the change. Then he started going, started playing crazy on the saxophone. And Henry Winkler gets like all nervous. He's looking all around. He opens up his briefcase. He breaks out his checkbook and he writes out the check and he stuffs the check into the cup. Oh, that was too funny. That was too funny. So you see, that they're showing you right there too on Night Shift, the dangers of being on the subway. You got to at least have $5. If not $5, at least have a checkbook or something. Maybe nowadays these guys, if they're going to mug you, they got the Square, with their phones that you could just swipe your credit card right there. Probably can just Venmo them or Cash App them, right there on the spot, so you don't get mugged and killed. Seems like a nicer way to do business nowadays. Let's see. On this date in 1976, the Jacksons debuted on CBS, starring the Jackson 5. So that's nice. I was a big fan of the Jacksons coming up. Michael Jackson, obviously. I love Michael Jackson. I have to say, as much as my musical tastes vary in so many ways, I can listen to Michael Jackson. I really always loved his presence and just what he did. He was really good. So shame that I don't think he's necessarily really gone. That's a whole nother down the road thing of once we have to start learning about, which people that we think are dead or not and ones that we think are alive or not. That's a whole nother plateau. I don't know how far that truth will come out, but that's a whole nother thing. Okay. Let's see. National Industrial Recovery Act. On this day in 1933, the NIRA is created, establishing the National Recovery Administration, which is the NRA, and Public Works Administration. So there you go. We have the National Industrial Act. They did it back in 1933, and we still, you saw what happened to I-95 in Philadelphia. Half the road fell apart. So I'm not sure what the Industrial Recovery Act does exactly. I guess it's just industry, maybe. So maybe it has something to do with infrastructure. It sounds like it says public works, so that sounds like it would maybe do something with the roads. How about you, Mr. N? I know you're up there in that area. Hopefully you don't have to ever go down 95. I did used to spend time in Northeast Philly, so I did have to drive. I drove through that area like all the time, so I'm so happy that I don't do that anymore because it would be really inconvenient now. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, also in 1933, the FDIC is established, providing insurance coverage for bank deposits. That's why a lot of us people out there, I don't want to insult anybody, but you believe your money's safe. I know you do. FDIC is going to cover it all, right? It's going to cover when the money's gone. When the money's gone, money's gone. What are they going to cover? Money's gone, right? So there's nothing to cover because there's no money. It's gone, right? So again, just going back to what I said earlier, just stuff to think about. He said it caused backups everywhere with 95. Mr. N is our official. He's on the ground. He's our official reporter. For the tri-state Philadelphia area. Yes, and I know it caused. It's going to cause backups for 6 years probably, right? Because that's the way they operate up there. In 1903, the Pepsi-Cola trademark is registered with the U.S. Patent Office. The name is derived from its contents, pepsin and cola nuts. Now, if you knew that you were drinking somebody's nuts, would you be so interested in the guzzle down that soda? 1903, the Ford Motor Company is founded, and 1897, the U.S. signs a treaty annexing the island territory of Hawaii. It was officially annexed. I don't know why I can't even say that. The following year. So there you go about that with Hawaii. Whoops, let me close this. Oh, Cracker Jacks. Oh, I always loved Cracker Jacks. Back when I used to eat shit food, I used to like Cracker Jacks. 1893, F.W. How do you say this guy? Ruckheim. He invents his popular confection. It was introduced to the public at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. But how fun was that as a kid? You get your Cracker Jacks, and they're tasty, sweet little popcorn caramel things, and then you get a little prize in there. You know what you used to get a lot? You used to get those little rub-off tattoos. It'd be like a little piece of paper, and you put it on, and you rub it, and you have like a tattoo for like a day. So I wonder if they could do that now. I was just, honestly, I don't know why my brain works this way, but how about this for like, the way Bud Light, did with the trans thing, right? What if like Cracker Jacks put little like swastika tattoos? Can you imagine? Like people open up and they got a little swastika tattoo in the Cracker Jack box, and how crazy society will go, my white supremacists, Nazis, blah. But what's so funny about it is that most people don't realize that America is the Nazi regime. It moved over here after World War II. So, that's what's really funny about it, is that we're still being controlled by Nazis, Anyway, let's see. Stan Laurel. Is this? Oh, it's a birthday. It's time for some happy birthday to you. Hold on, I'm getting emotional here. Happy birthday to you. I really might cry. I really might cry. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Just give me a minute. Happy birthday. You know how they do like the people they sing and they get all like, happy birthday to you. And you too, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. My birthday's coming up in a couple months. You guys want to do a party a live stream party for my birthday? Let me know. Let's see. He was born, Stan Laurel of Laurel and Hardy. He was born on this day in 1890. Of course, he has passed, and he passed in 1965. Let's see. Who else was born on this day? Oh, the founder of the Boy Scouts of America. Now, this guy's a pedophile, right? Because anybody who wants to create an organization so he can play with little boys all day. 1858, William D. Boyce. He was born on this day. He died in 1929. Oh, Geronimo. Anyway, he was born on this day in 1829, died in 1909. The Apache Indian chief, opposed to the policy of placing Indians on reservations. He raided Arizona settlements until his capture in 1886. Not for nothing, they make it like he's a bad guy, right? Like, oh, he was opposed to the policy of placing Indians on reservations. Oh, gee, you think so? Some other people decide to come over here from another country after they've been living all these years and decide to themselves that we're just going to take it over. And I'll tell you what, we're going to use the land and we're going to put you guys on a reservation. Maybe we'll give you a casino, or some smallpox infected blankets. Isn't that what they did to them too? Didn't they give them like blankets with smallpox or something to try to kill the Indians? I don't know. But either way, it's pretty obvious, like the tyranny of that's what I always get a kick out about the United States, the freedom and to do. And like it's been tyranny from day one. They came over and like obliterated the indigenous people. And then we became powerful that we go around the world and tell everybody what to do. I mean, I don't even understand how people think. Well, I don't even understand the pride sometimes, in our country. Okay. Who else was born on this day? We got this Panamanian boxer. He was a lightweight. Roberto Duran. He was born in 1951. Joan Van Ark. She was an actress. I guess she's still alive. She played Valerie Ewing on Dallas, if you remember that show. And she was also on Knots Landing. Joan Van Ark, born in 1943. Billy Crash Craddock. He was born on this day in 1939. He was a singer, and he did Knock Three Times. Knock Three Times. In 1971 was that Was the year of that song. Let's see here. Who else was born? Jake Albertson. Who the hell is he? He was an American Oscar, Tony, Emmy, award-winning actor. He was born on this day, 1907. Dave Beck, born on this day, 1894. American labor leader. He was a Teamsters president, so I'm sure he's buried somewhere by now. I'm sure there was no accident there. Let's see. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? We're back to George Reeves. How about that? Because he died on this day. After we talked about the suicide, but it says it here that he died on this day. Died on this day, George Reeves. Who else died on this day? Dr. Crawford Long. He was an American physician. He performed operation using. He performed first operation using ether for anesthesia. So there you go. Anybody else that I know here? Some names. I mean, these people are really, it's really a long time ago. All right, I think that's it. Let's go up here and do our thought for the day and end this madness. I can't believe I went a half hour talking about nothing. Talking about nothing for you, the people out there. I love you very much. I really, really do. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the thought for the day. And what is our thought for the day? Our thought for the day is freedom of the press belongs to those who own one. And isn't that the truth? If you own the printing presses, you say what's going on. That's exactly how our world works. That's exactly what's going on with the propaganda, mainstream media news machine. They make the news. They are the news. It's not the news that you're seeing. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Heyo.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time to be here with me today. Stick with this channel. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to be starting a second channel. I don't know how interested you'll be in that because it's going to be real estate related, but it'll still be me and my cheery self just talking about a different topic. I will let you guys know once that channel comes to fruition. I'm planning to hopefully get it going next week. So anyway, we'll see step by step with everything. Either way, I still plan to do some stuff here. Again, if you're interested to come on, happy to have you come on. I still want to do interviews, and I'm going to do more of those, outside kind of things that I was doing, trying to change stuff up. It's the same thing every day, just come up and go, what am I talking about? I'm generally talking about, even though I talk about different topics, they're generally kind of, they're all revolve around the same idea of, the world is changing. It's not a bad thing. Human consciousness is rising. It's time to empower ourselves, to live true to ourselves, whatever that means for you. I'm not telling you you have to dump your whole life and start something fresh, but whatever tweaks you have to make, that work for you to live happy and, stop living under, the fears of our old system. The oppression of our system. I think a lot of people don't want to take chances in life because, we're just so programmed that, this is not the way we do things. And, people are scared of, what happens if I mess up or what happens if this doesn't work out. And the what if, that's the show that I was doing on Monday when my damn computer crashed at the end. But, the fear of if, is that one. And if you want to go back and check it out, but that's basically what I was talking about. Where, we got to stop being afraid of if, and just do, and the universe will take care. If you're living true to your heart and really believe in what you're doing with good intentions, and you're just kind of finding that space to have a little bit of silence and go inside and just flow with, go with the flow, then, everything will work out. That's why I feel so happy about everything. All right. Anyway, so that's pretty much it here today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, send this out to all your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. I love all of you out there individually as well as a group. As you well know, you guys are my favorite out there. So don't be shy. Mr. N, thanks for hanging with me here today on the live stream. You're going to get my, when I go back and look at the analytics of this video and see the view time, maybe it'll be more than 36 seconds since you put so much time there. What do I owe you for this? Let me, you have Cash App or Venmo? What do I need to send you for your time? What do you charge per half hour to listen to this nonsense? No, seriously, I do appreciate it. So listen, guys, you know the deal. I love you out there individually as well as a group. So God bless you. Thanks for your time. Stick with me. So much more to come. And that's it. Enjoy your weekend. I will be back with you on Monday. So for now, what did it say? That'll be 15 cents. 15 cents? That's not too, you deserve more than that. Let me do something better for you than that. Well, at least let me send you a fruit basket, for God's sake. We're going to do it 15 cents. All right. Hey, I love you. Did I say that? I do. I love you. Not just you, Mr. N. All you people out there. All right? Have a great weekend. God bless you. Operation Status Quo disengaged.
It's a boulevard of 10 short blocks.